Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Azure Seas of Nita. I am the Heizmeister, and this is the second episode of the drone carrier construction. Now then, it has been quite some time since the last episode. Yeah, what has happened? Well, to make a very long and complicated story short, Legal from the Discord has introduced me, or well, helped me to learn 3D cram Tetris. Yes, I have finally learned the art of 3D cram Tetris. I wouldn't say that I have mastered it. I wouldn't go so far. No. But I am now fairly competent at using 3D cram Tetris. And I have even gone through the pain and headache that is triple-barreled 3D cram Tetris. Quite successfully, I might add. And while I retrofitted all my cram cannon using vehicles with 3D cram Tetris, I noticed a significant increase in firepower. Even doubled on some vehicles, and some have even had their cost reduced. So yeah, 3D crams, they are fantastic. Right then, another system in FtD, probably fully understood. Okay then, today we are going to continue our construction on the drone carrier, well obviously, and the following things are on the agenda. We will construct and place custom-made CIWS here on the superstructure in these 4 slots, and probably some anti-aircraft cannons. I was thinking of large caliber anti-aircraft, or maybe small caliber kinetic anti-aircraft. We'll have to see what fits better with this carrier. And to tell you the truth, I was so close, since I got kind of infatuated with crams in the last few days, I was so close to simply putting cram mortars into these slots here. But yeah, then I remembered no offensive weaponry, and cram mortars do have some limitations, particularly to their targeting and the targets they can successfully engage, which limits them to only slow and large targets. Anyway, and of course, let's not forget the underwater CIWS, the one here on the bottom, designed to engage any kind of torpedoes and protect this rather chunky pancake ship from any torpedo threats. So then, let's actually design a little CIWS that can fit into these slots here. I'm not going to make it a kinetic CIWS, probably since I do not have the space and the material budget to custom or allow for any railgun parts. And I mean, you don't need railgun parts for kinetic CIWS, to be fair, but still. Let's see what we can come up with. Oh yeah, while I'm building this CIWS now, I forgot to mention one thing. Thanks to Legal and he helping me with 3D cram Tetris, I've also updated all my workshop items that use cram cannons with the new 3D Tetris as well. So if you have if you are subscribed to any of my workshop creations, you might want to update them. They are now probably significantly more potent, at least the ones with cram cannons, and maybe a tiny bit more expensive. At least some of them are, not all of them. Right then, why is this not the default 0.1? I don't understand. Anyway, let's have it 3 barrels, and a shell gauge of 100 millimeter. There we go. Let's do this now before I forget, and let's have them spin to win. There we go. Nice. Okay. So this is just a rudimentary APS setup. I will refine this design once I get further into it. Now, the question is, should I use belt-fed autoloaders or the normal 1 meter autoloaders? You know, as much as I want to save material costs wherever possible, I think that well-fed autoloaders might provide a significant increase in firepower and thus more efficiency for this CIWS. So we'll have to see, I guess. Okay, so I have designed a shell for this CIWS. This is now a kinetic type CIWS. Here's the thing. Every projectile in FtD has an armor class or armor value of 20. No matter the gauge, no matter the length, and no matter the health. So a small missile, for example, has the same armor class or armor value as a 2000 millimeter cram projectile. And to do full damage, either your LAMs or your CIWS needs to have an armor piercing value of 20, which is no problem for LAMs. You don't need to add any frequency doublers. The default armor piercing value of a laser system is 40 or 60 for continuous beam systems. However, with this little CIWS here, this projectile, you have probably seen it already. This is alright, but 19.9, that's a problem. Now, I could install a Sabo body in here, and I would have no problem reaching the 20 armor piercing value. However, the kinetic damage that I do goes down quite significantly. So, I mean, I could add another gunpowder casing, you know? The best way to increase a shell's power or armor piercing value, at least so I have found, is to simply increase its speed. At least if you go by the mathematical equation of force, that would make the most sense, and it seems to be the case here and from the depth as well. But please do correct me if I'm completely wrong here. I'm far from being an expert in FtD, as you might have noticed. Sabo, and yep, give me a solid. Let's see. If we manage to keep the cooling up, this should be alright. Yep, let's do this. Okay then. I wish to assign this intake to all ammo controllers. This CIWS is now outfitted with, what are they called? Belt-fed autoloaders. And I have no ammo barrels. I don't even have a magazine yet. This is a slight oversight on my part. Something I wish to correct. That's just... I will build a little magazine, and I'll be back shortly. And now we even have sound. Yeah, I encountered some issues, so the first few minutes of this video probably won't have any sound. Sorry. I mean, my commentary is still there, but there's no in-game audio. Not that you were hearing much when I was building. I like it. Okay then, continuing to construct. Alright then, the CIWS has been installed, and I feel like a little test is in order. Now, I need to remind you guys that I have not set up any custom settings in the, what's it called, the CIWS weapon controller, so the targeting will be rather unrefined, but at least we can test its effectiveness for now. I need an enemy that has a few large missiles, because these CIWS are only suited to engage single targets, like a cram shell, large missiles, medium missiles maybe, not swarms of small missiles. No. This will probably be a task that is up to these medium anti-aircraft guns. They will pull double duty as CIWS and normal defensive weapons. But, yeah. Anyway, let's spawn an enemy and see what we can do. Alright, here's the first test of our small CIWS guns. Right back there in the distance is a crossbones. I have set up these CIWS with local weapon controllers and CIWS controllers, and I've even taken the time to properly adjust them. Let's see how they do. Right. Very good so far. They shouldn't have intercepted those. This is correct. At least I hope so. It would be rather embarrassing if they... yeah. Okay, to be fair, the lamps is also active. I should have probably kept that in mind. No, just shorten the range a little bit. Okay. I will try against the Palisade next. The Palisade has a number of large missiles which can overwhelm craft that are not equipped with sufficient anti-missile defenses. But you can see there, we are doing quite some kinetic damage, which means we are successfully intercepting those cram projectiles. Very good. Very good indeed. But I would like my projectiles to, or my CIWS, better to fire a little bit earlier than this. This is probably due to the detection of those cram projectiles. Maybe they get detected way too late, and also when they're inside the range of the what's it called? The lamps. Anyway, I call this test a success. Right then, here is something I have done. I have installed a 90-degree radar in each gun house of this CIWS, as well as a munition warner. Yes, asymmetrical design. Ah, how tragic. Anyway, this is the reason, by the way. A radar component is able to track shells and missiles at a range factor of 100%. Interesting, isn't it? And if you see here, the munition warner, at least according to the tooltip, detects cram and APS shells out to shorter ranges. What that means is not specified further, which is quite a shame, but I have to assume that this 90-degree radar is much more effective. And thus I have installed a few in these CIWS. Also, we are still fighting against, well, defending against the crossbones, and I've also deactivated the lamps by removing the laser core block. Yeah, so far none of the shells have hit, and the interception is proceeding rather smoothly. I would consider this defense against light cram barrages, I think, adequate. Yes, that is a fitting word to describe this. An adequate defense. Okay, last time we talked about these CIWS, I promise. I have added a tracer to this component, which has elongated the shell and dropped the rate of fire from 348 RPM to 301. And the damage has dropped as well. However, we are now able to more reliably hit these projectiles. which should make up for the loss of damage. As you know, previously quite a number of these kinetic projectiles have missed their target. So I would estimate that now, despite the lower damage per projectile and the lower rate of fire, the increased hit rate makes up for this deficiency. Right then, let's enable the lamps and see how all these defenses function together, since, you know, they are not meant to function on their own after all, but rather work together. Okay, and let me just refill the APS shells. Popping a few shells here and there. The palisade is firing. However, the lamp seems to struggle with those missiles quite a bit. Yeah. Look, the fine-tuning of these CIWS controllers will take some time, and I have wasted enough time on these already, so I'll do this after this carrier has been finished. For now, I can say that the CIWS is fully functional. Might want to remove a few coolers if I want to save some cost there, but anyway. Let's move on to those large anti-aircraft cannons, which should only fire at small swarms of missiles, mind you. And anti-aircraft. Aircraft, I mean. So it can hold its own against a parapet. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. The CIWS and the lamps are working together rather nicely, which I quite like. This synergy of weapon systems is something I very much... I'm happy about it, yeah. There goes the grand kaboom. Anyway, I think it's time to concern ourselves with those large anti-aircraft cannons. Still, not bad. Not bad at all. Okay, it has taken me some while, but I have now installed a 300mm anti-aircraft gun onto the carrier. Actually, two of them, double-barreled even. And they have been synchronized so that they fire in an alternating fire mode. Let me just... There we go. Nice, isn't it? The Tetris, however, is an absolute mess I made in there, because I decided to go with ejectors. These are frag projectiles, and I don't want to have a lucky sabot round penetrate all the way into here and then rip apart the entire insides due to secondary explosions. Right then, we have installed the weaponry on deck. Let's do the same for the weaponry below deck. This is going to be fun. Okay, we have now an upside-down CIWS equipped with a 90-degree sonar for better detection of torpedoes and underwater mines. Also, this particular CIWS here is equipped with a super cavitation base instead of a tracer, like the other ones. You know, for the... yeah, it reduces the slowdown when a shell travels through water. And since a super cavitation head lowers the warhead payload, I, of course, chose a kinetic loadout here. There isn't much choice, is there? Now then, we have fitted all the necessary weapon systems. Actually, let's put this whole assembly here to the test. Right then, something with torpedoes and missiles. The Iron Cordon, it is then. Yep. Spawn the Iron Cordon. Okay. Now, these anti-aircraft cannons should only engage clusters of small and medium missiles, not heavy missiles, mind you. I mean large and huge missiles. Now let's see what happens under the water. Not much, I'm afraid. We have intercepted the first missile volley, but there should be torpedoes incoming momentarily. I cannot see them. I hear them. Oh, there they are. The CIWS has done its job. Ha 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 ha! Would you look at that? An underwater CIWS? Can you even call it that? Yeah, I mean, if it works, it works. Also, the carrier has jumped quite a bit in price, but this also marks the point where we have added all the most pricey components, and from now on we will only add the ACV setups for the drone spawners themselves, and a little bit of material storage, as well as some doing some compartmentalization using wood. So nothing too expensive. Tja, the Iron Cordon cannot attach this fully operational, well, not fully operational, carrier. This is so nice. Yep, we have intercepted the torpedoes. Very nice. I cannot believe that this works so well. I might do some fine-tuning, but actually, let's destroy enemy vehicles for a moment. Repair all, and let's test the self-defense mechanisms with some aircraft. Yeah, that's it. Not a single Hague. There should be a Hague squadron here somewhere. Oh. Yeah, there it is. Right then. The aircraft are on the field. What are you going to do? Carry. Oh yeah, I forgot I need to synchronize this other gun I copy-pasted. Bonk, bonk. Well, that's one way to take out these little aircraft. Use your chonkiness and just stand in their way. Yeah, they're in a death spiral. Still, I'd say these aircraft are disabled. The only weapon system that is missing now are these two small laser turrets here. And let's say if they are installed, they should have dealt with these aircraft rather quickly. Or, if one has patience, the other weapon systems can do it as well. So, let's end this episode with one more test of our defensive systems. Save for the laser turrets, that is. I will do this between episodes. This is nothing spectacular. I have spawned quite a number of enemy flyers back there in the distance. They are all armed with a variety of missiles, torpedoes, and yeah. Go! Very nice. A few are getting through. This is not surprising when there's such a swarm incoming. And our single underwater CIWS is of course struggling to acquire any torpedoes from this swarm. But against large torpedoes this should be no problem. They are a little bit slower after all. Hehehe. Looks like we got a few. Yep. And I've also set up the CIWS to engage underwater targets as well. You know, in case some sneaky submarine tries to go below me and use a melee puck upwards facing cram cannon. Just some examples. Very nice. Let's see if we can take down all the other aircraft as well. Oh, torpedoes. Yeah, this underwater CIWS has a little bit of a dead zone here, especially since the carrier does have some draft and it cannot fire up to torpedoes that are coming in, let's say, at this angle here. Everything else, however, is absolutely no problem. Haha, look at this! Oh, the CIWS is barely tracking this fast Gannet. Bonk. Hey, stop shooting your own structure here, your superstructure. Ah, yeah. Have you noticed that these anti-aircraft cannons are not producing any explosions? You know, when designing these cannons with a timed fuse, you actually have to remember to add a laser targeter. I am so stupid. Well, regardless of that simple design flaw, the aircraft have been dealt with. And the carrier is mildly damaged, a few scratches here and there. Now then, I think this is it. This is the end of this episode. I hope you have enjoyed this little part of the construction of our drone carrier, and in the next episode we will be adding the drone spawners themselves, setting up the drone spawning routines and the conditions for when which drone should be spawned, and probably apply a little bit of paint to this carrier and maybe some decorations. Until then, I am the Heizmeister, and I hope I see you next time on the Azure Seas of Nita. Take care and goodbye.